Counsel, do you know, is it your understanding that the trial's de novo?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then what about the exposure that the defendant has in terms of criminal exposure? Is it up to greater than magistrate court, or is magistrate court cap his exposure?
Cap exposure.
And so essentially, Mr. Halburn is appealing the $250 fine and the $159.50 cost of the guilty verdict, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and that's his exposure, no jail time.
Yeah, correct, Your Honor.
Okay, so it's about a $409.50 case at this point. All right, is your witness here?
Your Honor, he's stuck in traffic.
Okay.
So we'll just
let me go on now. Then, Mr. Halburn, it's your case now. Now, let me just assume that you're going to make a motion to dismiss based on no evidence, and I'm going to deny that motion to dismiss. And now you have an opportunity to put on your case if you want to put on a case at all.
Your Honor, yes, I do. Thank you.
Well, let me ask you. No, I was going to ask you if you want to make an opening statement now, or whether you want to just go right in as a witness.
I want to make an opening statement.
Okay, but if you make an opening statement, it's not evidence; it's just an argument.
I understand, sir.
Okay, you got a couple minutes to make that, and then you need to be a witness or bring in a witness to back up what you're going to say in an opening statement. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, go on.
Okay. Your Honor, I went to the pool at Shawnee Park on August 30th, a nice, warm West Virginia summer day, to go swimming. And when I went to the office, and can I give these to you now, or?
You can bring them up to the clerk and have them labeled as your exhibit.
Should I give them to him?
Give them to the sheriff, and he'll take them up to the clerk and have them labeled. You want those to come in as witnesses, as exhibits?
Yes, sir.
All right, so the clerk would label those A, B, and C as the defendant's exhibits.
When I went to the gate of the pool office, there's a sign on the door that says, "Please enter through the side gate of the pool." Posted as, signed by the manager, MGR. I went around to the pool, I heard voices of people. It sounded like people were swimming in the pool, and indeed they were. Went into the pool, and one of the heads popped up. It was Deputy Vernon asking me what I was doing there. I said I was there to swim.
Can I just object?
Sir, I'm making my arguments.
Well, I have an objection. This sounds like just not really much like an opening argument as it is testimony.
Well, he's making his opening statement, and then if he wants any of it to count in his case, he's got to be sworn. So I told him he could have a couple minutes to explain it, and then you might as well do it under oath, because that's what you're going to testify to, correct?
Correct.
All right, so raise your right hand. You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
May I affirm?
You may affirm.
I affirm.
And let me ask you, is everything you said true and accurate to your best of your belief and affirmation?
Absolutely.
Okay, so go on, and then you can do wherever you're comfortable. You can stand there, you can take the witness stand, you just tell your story, and counsel will have a chance to cross-examine you.
Okay. I came to the pool rather on August 30th.
It's a hot summer day, and you saw the sign.
Warm summer afternoon. I don't know if I'd say hot, but warm summer afternoon.
Handwritten sign. It says,
handwritten sign
on
the pool office door saying, "Please enter." The key word there, Your Honor, is enter through the side gate. I went around. I did not see any marked squad cars. I saw what appeared to be civilian cars.
You saw some people swimming in the pool.
I heard some people swimming in the pool. At that point, they were in the water, and I was coming through the gate, and because of the distance, I couldn't physically see them until I approached the deck area.
Did you pay?
No, there was no one there. There was no one at the gate.
Did you think it was a free pool?
No, I asked where the manager was so that I could pay.
But you never paid?
I did not pay because there was no one there to take. The door was closed at the side gate. I looked around, didn't see anyone, and I immediately asked where the manager was so that I could pay because there was no one to pay.
And did you ever pay?
I never paid because I was, told I couldn't get in the pool.
Did you put the money down? Did you lay in the money?
I did not. There was no sign saying how much money to put down, so I did not know how much money to put down.
Had you ever been there before?
No, sir, I had not.
Never been to this pool before?
No, sir, I had not. I don't live in Kanawha County, sir. I had not, sir.
But you'd been to other public pools?
I've been to other public pools.
But you knew you had to pay? I
knew that I had to pay, but there was no one there to pay, or no facility, no box saying pay here, no sign saying how much amount. So I asked to speak to the manager.
At any time, did you think you were authorized to be there if you didn't pay?
I thought I was authorized to be there by the sign saying please enter through the side gate.
Even if you didn't pay?
regardless, because I was completely willing to pay, sir, but there was no one there in what appeared to be a payment capacity.
And I think that might be stipulated too. I mean, I don't know that anyone would disagree with that. Was there ever any question in your mind that was a facility that was protected? When I say protected, because I think it's semantics, whether it was private or whether it was public or whether it was run by the Dunbar City, the county commission or whatever.
It appeared to be a public pool, and there was a gate, and then again I saw the sign saying please enter to the side gate. So my first question to the deputy is, where's the manager? Because I needed to find out how to pay, where I could go to, leave my T-shirt and so forth, because the locker room appeared to be closed because, to my knowledge, and again I'd never been there before, the locker room was behind that locked door that had a sign on it saying please enter to the side gate.
And what time of day was it?
I would guess, I'd say afternoon. I don't recall the specific time, 3, maybe 4 o'clock.
On a hot August day?
On a warm August day.
On a hot August day?
I said warm.
Well, I mean, we're lucky if we got a warm one in August. Usually it's so hot you can't even get warm in a pool. But having said that, it's the end of August, correct?
Yes, it was the 30th.
At the end of August. And how many people would you say in the middle of an afternoon on a Saturday in August were at that pool when you looked at the pool?
There appeared to be about a half dozen or more people in the water.
A half a dozen or more.
Right.
On a Saturday afternoon in August.
Yes, sir.
It's at a place you knew was a public pool.
Correct.
And no manager.
I asked, and
no employee.
I didn't see one. I didn't know if they were on a bathroom break and a concession stand. I'd never been there before, sir.
Any cars in the parking lot?
There were several cars in the parking lot.
Several cars in the parking lot?
Yes, sir. Pardon me. Yes, sir.
And your position is that you don't believe the deputy's position that he asked you to leave?
He didn't ask me to leave until he said, you have 5 seconds to get out of here.
Okay.
And I got out of there in about 7. It was unreasonable to expect me to go 50 feet in less than 5 seconds. And I was outside the pool. I followed his order to leave the pool. I was outside the pool when he said you have 5 seconds to leave. I then, because of the bizarre way, rude way, unprofessional way that the deputy was acting, when I got outside of the pool area, picked up my cell phone, or pulled my cell phone out of my pocket, and started to call 911. When he saw me making the phone call, that's when he and the other deputy in charge out of the pool area, through the gate, into the parking lot where he was, and then placed me in handcuffs and detained me and treated me rather rudely. There were bruises on my wrists and everything, marks on my wrists.
Let me just start back to the trespassing thing.
There wasn't a trespass.
But your whole right to enter, you didn't pay.
There was no facility to pay. I asked
I
about
understand that. The fact is you did not pay to go in there. You didn't own the facility. It wasn't your property. There wasn't anybody there to give you permission. And your whole defense is that you had a right to be there because this sign was there. So you weren't trespassing.
No, that's part of my defense. The other part of it is a public pool, and it's normal business operating hours on a public day when people would expect to go swimming in a public pool.
It definitely was a public pool. That's why the sheriff is the agent for the public. That's what gives him the authority to supervise the premises. But my question is, there's no dispute that he told you to leave.
He told me one time that I had 5 seconds to leave, and I left.
Okay, but
I followed that order.
There's no question that he told you to leave.
And there's no question that I followed that order. I was in the parking lot.
So just to try to put this in some realistic perspective to me, why would he testify what he testified about then? What reason?
Because, as he said in the magistrate hearing, he was very upset that someone had come in and interrupted his confidential training session, one that he held in a public pool, in a fence that you could see through, no sign on the gate, no one posted at the gate, took absolutely no precautions at all to ensure the integrity and the safety and the confidentiality of his training system, but said even to the park ranger that they called out, I can't even hold a training session without getting interrupted. That was his big thing. He was upset that somebody walked in. Well, the reality is, Your Honor, anybody could have walked in. The gate was not locked. The gate was actually open. When I say open, not only was it unlocked, it was unlatched and swung open when I walked through the open gate. And I had signs that said, please enter.
You didn't even ask him about any of that. mean, he stood there and he testified before he was excused. He testified for 5 minutes, exactly what he said. And you never once asked him about any of that you just testified to now.
Well, I'm testifying to it now.
That he made all that up, that he said that nothing that the sheriff said was true because he was so upset that you caught him swimming.
I didn't catch him swimming. I walked in there to swim in the public pool with a sign that invited me in.
But how
I wasn't trying to catch anybody.
How could that make anybody upset? Unless he were nude swimming with another guy or another girl.
To answer your question, Your Honor, because it was supposed to be a confidential session, and he didn't want anybody. That's how I could make him upset.
And he said that to you.
He said after I was in cuffs, he said that to me. Not at the time that I was standing near the deck. But when I was in the parking lot, in cuffs. And obviously, if he detained me in the parking lot, I had followed his order to leave, or I would not have been there. That's where he cuffed me. Okay. In an extreme, aggressive, over-the-top inappropriate show of force.
Of you being there with
right.
him.
I mean, all this was is an overweight man trying to get some exercise on a warm August day in a public swimming pool. It's nothing more than, I saw the sign that said, enter through the side gate. I did that. I entered through the side gate. I asked to speak to the manager. He said the manager wasn't there. I said, well, what's going on? He says, well, the manager's not here. I said, well, is there somebody in charge I can speak with? You've got 5 seconds to leave. And I took off towards the parking lot as I was instructed to. Did I make it out the gate in 5 seconds? No, it's about 7. Because I was counting. Because at this point I'm thinking, what in the world is going on? I got somebody that's acting like a whack job, not identifying as far as uniform, badge, anything. And I've seen SWAT teams in wetsuits. I've been a journalist off and on for 20 years.
Your position is, though, that because that sign's there, that authorizes you to be in there, and therefore you weren't trespassing.
That's correct.
That's your whole case.
No, as I said earlier, a public swimming pool during normal business hours in addition to that.
Well, it obviously wasn't normal business hours. There's nothing on here that says business hours. It doesn't say on August 28th.
Well, most public swimming pools at 3 in the afternoon on a weekend are open.
That's your call. That's your interpretation. There's nobody in here that says what normal business hours are. If my memory serves me, most all public pools are closed that last week of August because the lifeguards go back to school and they can't get lifeguards to open them up. So my experience is it's not open then. It's open on the Memorial Day, the Labor Day weekend that comes after that. But my experience in Charleston and Kanawha County is that it's not open that week. But yours may be different, and I'm not taking that into account. The fact of it is nobody was there. You didn't pay.
So there were people swimming in the pool.
I'm not talking about in the pool. I'm talking about your right to be there. They had a right.
As I was walking in, it sounded like the general public were in the pool. I heard voices. I heard people talking.
I'm not disputing
I had no idea who was in the water. It sounded like you could have been in the water. She could have been in the water. She could have been in the water.
I'm not disputing any of that. I'm not disputing anything that you said, except that you didn't pay. The pool was not open to the public. There was no manager there that said there was.
There was no sign saying it was closed either, sir.
Well,
I saw a sign saying, please enter through the side gate. Had the sign said the pool was closed, I would not have even gone to the side gate. I followed the instructions on the sign.
but
Please enter through the side gate.